Hello Spartan fans and welcome to bye week here at the Spartan Report. My name is Dennis Zurbano. Thanks for tuning in today. We have something special for you during this bye week. It's a segment called 4 Downs. And joining me for 4 Downs is Bao Lam, MSU alum and now college football analyst. Hey Bao, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Dennis. Thanks for asking. A little disappointed in the Spartans from this past weekend.
It's great to have you here, Bao. Here's how 4 Downs works. I have 4 major topics stemming from State's last game, and I'll give you 45 seconds to discuss each one. So let's dive right in. Of course, we'll start off with 1st and 10, 10 being the number of flags thrown against the Spartans in South Bend. 4 of those penalties were pass interference penalties. Now, Bao, were those the right calls against the Spartans?
Yeah, so with pass interference calls, it's a very gray area for that. With the Michigan State defense, you'll see a lot of cover 0 and press man coverage. Now, the surprising thing about this one was the officials are actually Big Ten officials, so I think you'll see Mark D'Antonio adjusting the defense and playing a little more zone with regards to these penalties, just because these penalties are hurting us, especially in key plays like at 3rd down and 4th down, so we need to make some adjustments, but I think those calls are about 50-50.
Good points, Bao. For me, the officials only got 2 out of the 4 calls correct. But what's not doubted is that all 4 of those penalties extended what looked like to be stalled Irish drives. So let's move on to 2nd and 6 now. 6 being the number of drops the Spartans had on Saturday. And it seems like to be an ongoing problem for the Spartans. So who's to blame? The quarterbacks or the wide receivers?
So the blame will have to go a little bit to both parties. Connor Cook has missed a couple passes and he's put a little too much heat on some of his passes. At the same time, these are Big Ten receivers who should be making these catches at crucial times. We just cannot be dropping these balls on 3rd down, on 1st and 2nd down. It just makes too large of a situation for Connor Cook, a young quarterback, to manage.
I'm going to have to disagree with you on this one. I put this solely on the MSU wide receivers. Officially, drops are passes that should have been caught. Now, I'm not saying that all those passes were picture perfect, but I mean, these guys are a step away from the big leagues. They got to catch the ball if it hits their hands. Just as a fact. So, it comes down to 3rd and 2 now. 3rd down being the key down at Michigan State, as you know. And the key moment was when Mark D'Antonio had to decide between his 2 quarterbacks on who should lead the final drive. Was putting Andrew Maxwell in the correct choice?
So certainly it can be seen, Andrew Maxwell being a 5th-year senior, knows the system very well. Connor Cook's very inexperienced, so I can see why D'Antonio put it in. At the same time, Maxwell showed a lot of rust. He threw it a little bit too hard for receivers, threw it behind them. In addition, the 4th and 20 play, you can't scramble for that, man. That's too long. Come on, man.
Yeah, this was not the right call at all. Andrew Maxwell hadn't even played in the first 58 minutes of the game. He was not in the flow of the game. So why do you put him in for a potential game-winning drive? It's absolutely ridiculous. If Mark D'Antonio really wants Connor Cook to mature and develop into his starting quarterback, then leave him in that situation. Let him lead the final drive. Okay, it's 4th and inches now, Bao. Last down. Give your non-conference grades for the offense, defense, and coaching staff.
So we'll go ahead and start off on the point everyone wants to touch on. For the offense, I'm going to have to give the offense a C+. While the running game with Nick Hill and Jeremy Langford has been respectable, it's nowhere near Le'Veon Bell's production last year. In addition, the obvious deficiencies at quarterback, tight end, and wide receivers are just, it's too big for us. Michigan State has a great defense, and we just can't lose games, and that's what the MSU team is doing on offense. So I'll stick with C+ for that one. In terms of the defense, I'm going to go ahead and give it an A-, just because while our defense has been great, we've been limiting them to limited yardage. We have been not being able to get off the field at certain times on 3rd down. We have a little bit too much penalties, and I'd like to see a little more pass rushing for us to take the pressure off our defensive backs. And in terms of coaching, I think outside of our Notre Dame game, we've done a very good job. In terms of play calling, you can't always get the receivers to get to third down. That's a little bit awareness on their part. But at the same time, I don't think we should be punting it on 4th and 5 with 5 minutes left on the 45-yard line. Just some key decisions and just not putting enough faith into our players. So I think I'll give them a solid C+.
Great stuff, Bao. I'll be handing out my grades on next week's Spartan Report. But as always, some awesome insight from you, Bao. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Dennis. Go green.
Go white. So, those were Bao's answers. You all can chime in on the 4 down questions by commenting below or on Twitter at Spartan Report. Your comments could land you a guest analyst spot on the next edition of 4 Downs. But that's all I have for bye week. My name is Dennis Zurbano. I hope you enjoyed watching. I'll see you next week for the start of Big Ten season here on your Spartan Report. And as always, go green.